Chapter 4, The Betrayal. After we reach our earlier campsite, the princess rolls down her silk stockings and bathes her feet in the cool water of the stream, while Oscar hunts for something suitable to feed her. He eventually settles on more asparagus and a few wild berries. Except for our surly captive, the scene is peaceful and pleasant. Oscar's fondness for plants and sunlight has led me to spend many days in surroundings such as these, watching him enjoy himself. I know the powers of Guelinor must be in great turmoil after our disappearances, and we ought to return as soon as possible. And yet, no one seems compelled to hurry. What are those called?
Branching asphodel.
Asphodel, what a pretty name! Then she blinks at a glimpse of fast-moving color overhead.
That's a peacock butterfly.
Oh! I know every contour of my country from the maps I've studied, but it looks so different to see it for myself. While those two explore the local wildlife, Callum stands alone, his eyes on the rippling reflections that cross the surface of the stream. What will our return mean to him? He'll have to confront his family again, while still burying the painful memories of his last attempt to reach out to his sister. He is no longer a helpless child, and the king would find it difficult to thrash him even if he were so inclined. Still, challenging those who have held power over you all your life is never an easy task. And then there is the person who is least enthusiastic about returning. Hey, how about you just let me go? You've got your princess and your gold, and I've got nothing, so it's no harm done, right? Not a chance. I've got nothing against you lot. Untie me and I'll get gone. You'll never see me again. That's why you're staying tied. Soil's breath, do you know what they'll do to me? Traitors hang! Maybe you should have thought of that before turning on your masters. Didn't do nothing you didn't do first, and them's your own family too. You carried off your sister, you plucked your own treasury, you quashed the little prince, you lied to him and her both, you half-choked the life out of me, and you call me a criminal? Come on, Lady Valois. Do you really trust him not to drop us both if he sees his chance? It's my life on the line. Let me go. You have no right to talk about lies after the games you played with me.
What games?
Oh, she didn't tell you? Nobody tells you anything, do they, little prince? Aww. Your girl bribed me to break her into nobles' rooms. Maybe she's a thief, huh? Let me go and I'll tell you what she said about you. You what? I said nothing.
I'm not listening to you.
Thank you, Oscar. No one cares to hear anything more from you. Oh no? Funny that. I thought you wanted to know what was going on in your palace behind your back. I see things you hadn't. You or your sister neither. I can tell you all about them. That Duke and his Lady Sophie, for instance. Do you know what they're plotting? Cousin Sophia? What about her? She doesn't know anything. I do, and I can tell you if you let me go. There's just so many people on the screen right now. Or maybe you'd rather ask your Valois girl. She and Duke Farad got mighty cozy in his rooms.
Ooh, Dolores. What?
Oscar, don't listen to her. The word of a known liar is meaningless. Ask your own questions, you'll see. I'm not the one telling lies. I've played you fair. I've kept my promises. And what of your oath to serve? Oh, that. Look, do any of you really want to go back to that palace? You set foot inside and you'll be trapped. They'll never let you see the sun again, princess. And you, prince criminal, you think they'll forgive you for what you've done? You've got your freedom and your wits and a good sum of coin. You could start a new life altogether. Those words hold a truth she could not know. With such a sum of gold as that, I could buy land, a house, connections, enough to outfit and support myself while I build my place in society, enough even to make investments to sustain my position for the future. It is not, of course, enough to establish me as anything other than what I am, a gentlewoman of low rank, respectable perhaps, but not among the highest circles. And yet it would be sufficient to grant me what I have never had. An estate of my own. An estate that I could offer to share with another. Like Oscar. It would not be the prestigious match that the rulers of Osendaware wish for their son, yet, if I were in control of my fate, if Oscar's affections were more than a passing fancy, if we were sure, it might be enough. But that would only be the case if the funds were mine. Mine in total, and in truth, and they are not. Let me just reread that sentence. That ended badly. But that would only be the case if the funds were mine. Mine in total and in truth, and they are not. Darn it. Some of us have a concept of honor. Come on, do you want to be nothing but what you are forever? This is your chance. Come with me, any of you. I'll see you straight. That is enough. With a discarded bit of silk, he gags Dolores, ignoring knit fingers and frantic squawking.
We probably should start on our way back. If you've rested enough.
I'll be fine.
You can lean on me if your feet hurt.
I will assist her. Oh boy. We all will. Except Dolores. The walk back to the Palace of Quellenor is not so great in distance or in difficulty, particularly now that we do not require such secrecy and may make use of the roads. However, the new additions to our party cause our progress to be a great deal slower than a simple reversal of our original expedition. Neither woman can keep up a fast pace, although for entirely different reasons. Princess Cassidy struggles on bravely, despite her sore toes, but her entire life to this point has been lived in a glass bubble. The novelty of sunlight, open air, and wildflowers is wearing thin. She has no strength, no endurance, and must frequently stop to rest. The page Dolores, on the other hand, has no intention of making this easy for us. She must be prodded, dragged, or slung bodily over Callum's shoulder in order to move at all. Lovely. As we continue our slow journey, Oscar falls in beside me. Oh, hey, buddy.
You are right, you know.
About what?
Oh, I forgot. You're always right.
He shakes his head and sighs.
I wasn't thinking about the future, about being married to you. I was only thinking about enjoying myself now.
What? You wanted to use me? Oscar! Did he really just say that he was pretending to be in love with me only to get me into bed?
What do you mean, use? Oh! No, nothing like that. Sorry. What I meant to say was, I've only ever thought about the things I wanted us to do together. Talking about our feelings, going for walks, dancing.
We've done those things before.
That's my point.
It is? I'm lost.
I wanted to do the things we've always done, but to be able to hold your hand afterwards and be close to you.
Aww.
And then, like last night...
Last night. I push away the memory of our lips touching. It didn't happen. It will never happen again. Oh, Madeleine.
I wanted to be able to show you that I cared about you. I wasn't thinking about how things would have to change. I wanted to live in the castle with you and my family, and be together like we always have. But that can't happen, can it? You've been trying to tell me all along, and I wasn't listening. So you're right after all. I am a child.
You're a young man, and a kind and caring one. That's not a bad thing to be. You're also beautiful, and sweet, and clever, and much stronger than I thought you were. But I can't say that to you, not now. You should go talk to Cassidy. This is your best chance to build a relationship with her. You're today's hero, remember? You caught that page when she would have escaped.
So, that's really what you want me to do?
Why does he have to ask me that? This isn't about what I want. This is about how things are and how they have to be. And so, I still my thoughts, I smooth my brow, I smile at him, and I lie. Yes, that's what I want.
Right.
He waits for my response, but none is coming. My face is a perfect mask, as long as I don't speak.
Then that's what I'll do. Thanks, Maddie.
One stiff little motion and my head nods. Aw, that's so sad. And then he's gone. No, he is not gone. Why am I thinking such foolish thoughts? He is right there, doing exactly what he should be. We each have our place. I am doing my job and doing it well. That's what matters. And so I stand here, with my hands clenched and my fingernails digging into my palms, trying to feel nothing. Except for dots. Oh, that was sad. As we near the palace, we catch sight of a figure in the distance. Oh, it's a guard. He's wearing the uniform of a soldier of Guelinor. Of course, they must be sending out search parties by now. I thought this was, like, French. Why are we speaking Spanish now? Hola, guard. The guardsman draws his sword on approach. He must find our appearance suspicious. One missing princess, 2 princes who should be in the palace under lock and key, and 2 servants, one of whom is tied up. I suppose we do look a bit suspicious at that. Declare yourselves. Callum and Cassidy of Guelinor, Oscar of Osindaware and his companion Miss Valois, and our prisoner. It's all right. They're rescuing me. Are you injured, my lady? Just a bit sore-footed. I don't suppose you have a horse. I would be happy to assist you, my lady. He comes closer and offers her his arm. But he hasn't put down his sword. Oh no! Rock and roll music. Die, imposter! What? Scary face. And everything happens at once. Cassidy is frozen in place, uncomprehending. Oscar's eyes open wide as he realizes the danger too late. Callum is already moving, but he was standing one step too far away. And I see Dolores lurching past me, still bound, driving her shoulder hard into Cassidy's form, knocking the princess off her feet and out of the line of the guardsman's strike. I take the same tactic, but apply it in the opposite direction, snapping a vicious sidekick into the guard's ribs. His armor pads him from any damage, but it drives him back and away from his target. Oh yeah, dual-wielding the daggers! With a quick pivot, I restore my center and draw my daggers. I rush him, both blades flying rapidly to chime against his sword, forcing him to withdraw even further in order to regain the advantage of reach. He feints, then sweeps for my legs, but my lack of armor stands me an advantage here. I leap over the strike, then swipe at his eyes. I'm not close enough to connect, but his head jerks back by instinct, keeping him off balance. Now he's angry. Ooh. Epic fighting! He brings his greater strength to bear against me, whelming blows that make the daggers ring in my hands. This is no sparring match. I can already feel a burning line across my arm where I failed to completely guard one slash. I come in close again, trying to pin his sword. But I've miscalculated. Uh-oh. The guard's heavy muscular knee slams up hard into my unarmored midsection, knocking the breath out of me. Spots swim in my vision, and for a moment I can only bend over helplessly, vulnerable. Callum, when are you going to get into this fight? But I have another advantage that he does not. I am not alone. Thank you. As the guard raises his sword over my head, Prince Callum charges in, catching the guard's arm mid-stroke. Thank you. Using his weight and leverage, he flips the man onto his back, then pins him down with one knee. Oh, the scary face again. Die! He raises his hand, then slams the side of it down hard into the soldier's throat. No! This time, it is too late to stop him. A crushed neck cannot be undone. Man, what brute strength you have, Callum. What? No, don't look. He pulls Cassidy away, leaving only Callum and myself to view the guard's dying struggles. As breath returns to my aching body, the guardsman loses his forever. We should have questioned him. He was an assassin and a fanatic. He made no attempt to hide his target. He couldn't possibly have expected to get away cleanly. He intended to attack until he was dead. He was one of your guards. He was in someone's pay. Probably Duke Farad. You! He directs that shout at Dolores, who lies still bound and gagged on the ground, where she fell after knocking Cassidy aside. Did you know about this? If she knew about, why would she say, blah. She can't answer you like that. Fine. He hauls Dolores to her feet and unfastens the gag. Of course I didn't know, you corkhead. How would I? You reacted. She did protect me. She only did that to try and save her own skin. Sure, and wouldn't you? I don't want to die. I don't want her to die. I don't want anyone to die. You remember that, Your Highness. Remember who's a killer and who's not. Is that a person really dead? Yes. I see. Waving Oscar and Callum aside, she kneels beside the body and lays one trembling hand upon its chest. I'm sorry. May your rest bring you peace. No matter what they've done, I would not wish for anyone to die. He would have killed you if he could have. If his master had equipped him with a rifle or crossbow instead of a sword, we might not have been able to stop him. Oh! Duke Farad, he brought a collection of muskets with him. They're stored in his chambers. So this probably isn't his assassin. Or else there are more out there. We should hurry. We can send someone to pick him up later. We need to get you to safety. I'll do my best. Indeed. Ooh, the castle. Pretty. After a brief, intense journey, the familiar stone walls loom before us. We cluster tightly together in case of unknown dangers at this final hurdle. Callum in the lead, sheltering Cassidy behind him. Then Oscar. Then Dolores. Then finally myself. The princess should be visible enough for our group to be granted passage without argument, but a sniper's shot at her should be blocked by one of the two men. As for Dolores, someone has to keep an eye on her and make sure she doesn't try to run. She appears to have accepted her fate, but I wouldn't trust her not to turn on us at the worst possible moment. We reach the front gates. This time, Callum's bellowed greeting is met with a chorus of hails. A full company of guards charge out to surround and escort us. Even then, our heightened nerves do not allow us to relax easily, but the soldiers make no aggressive moves. They do not even ask for details of how we came to be in the situation, but move us swiftly into the safety of the building. There we will have to give our accounting to the King of Gualanor. Indeed, but first I shall drink some water. Inside, the guards suddenly call a halt. Royals this way, servants that way. What?
Maddie stays with me. I mean, Miss Valois.
Only one of them is a prisoner. We have orders, Your Highness. Your parents wish to speak with you urgently in their private chambers. It would not be appropriate for those not of royal birth to be admitted. Their statements will be taken later. I suppose. You won't let that one worm free. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her. They will be guarded at all times. Oscar looks at me, but says nothing. I don't like where this is going. Ordinarily, in response to such a look, I would pat his arm, or squeeze his hand, or some other such gesture of reassurance. But with my new resolve to avoid physical contact between us, I must hold back. I never thought about how often we touched until I had to stop myself from doing it. Oh dear. Cassidy draws herself up to her full height. Very well, carry on. Dolores and I are herded into a room to await His Majesty's pleasure. Your weapons. What? Orders to avoid accidents. Indeed, another guard is already poking and prodding at Dolores to ensure that she's carrying nothing at all dangerous. I at least am spared that indignity, but I am made to hand over my daggers. After that, the guards take up positions outside the doors, preventing us from exiting, but otherwise leaving us alone. There's nothing for us to do but stare at each other and pace. I can only imagine what must be happening with the others. Will Prince Callum rage at his parents for having kept him in the dark all these years? Will he be punished? Or will the newfound sibling bond between him and Princess Cassidy serve to mend all ills? And what of Oscar? He could demand reparations for the assault in the garden, if he chooses not to take Callum's side. Blast it, I wish I could be there. While I'm making wishes, I also wish for a cool drink and a warm bath. Sleeping in a forest does not suit me. You could at least untie me. You're a prisoner. Come on, what am I going to do? Knock you over and take on the entire palace guard by myself? Just want my hands free, that's all. My fingers hurt. We're under guard. And I'm pretty tough, even if I don't have my daggers. I mean, Madeleine is pretty tough. Yeah, fine, we'll untie you. I'd ask you to promise you'll behave, but I've seen how seriously you take your oaths. If it's like that, then I don't want your help. No, I'll do it. I struggle a bit with the tight knots, but eventually I have her free. She shakes out her hands, cursing under her breath, and scrubs at her face with clumsy fingers. Her eyes meet and hold mine for a moment, but her will is weaker than mine, and she soon looks away. Why did you do it? Do what? Betray your masters. Why not? You had a good position here. Better than someone like me deserves, huh? Don't think I haven't heard that every day of my life. You're somewhat unusual for a page. I know that now. If I'd known it then, I'd have run for the hills and Mali the king. What are you talking about? You want to hear this, lady whatever? I'm a foundling, dropped off on a doorstep and raised with the other dogs. I've no idea who my people are. Charity brought me up, that and the street. So I learned a few letters and eating dirt and picking pockets and washing shirts. House girls, sometimes somebody wants us for a servant. Nobody important, of course. We're not good enough for that. That background would certainly explain her speech and manner. But then what is she doing here? As she said, an orphan peasant would rarely rise higher than some merchant's back kitchen. One day, this fancy lady all in good clean clothes comes to the house. She says His Majesty wants to look good, do something nice for the scum of the land. One of us little insects gets to go off to the palace and live a life of luxury, and they picked me. They clean me up and give me new clothes and the best meal I've ever had, and I think I must be dreaming. Then, why? Why would you betray them? That's... You got all the book learning, but you're still as dumb as a stone. Enlighten me, then. No. Why bother? I'm up for the long drop. No one will care I was ever here. So you think about it. Maybe you'll learn something. Or you forget. It's no difference to me. You're not going to die. You want Princess Cassidy to your side. She'll speak for you. That's no guarantee. Nobody is exactly what they look like. Perhaps so, but rarely is a seeming entirely false, and Cassidy has shown herself to be a very forgiving soul. Dolores pulls out a chair and sits down, then folds her hands on the table and lays her head atop them, closing her eyes. What are you doing? She doesn't answer me. Fine. I suppose there's really not much that we have left to say. She is rough and rude and manipulative and disloyal. We are too different to ever understand each other. I choose a seat where I can watch her at a safe distance and allow myself to relax. There is nothing to do but wait. Dots. At long last, the door is opened and a stern-looking pair of guards march into the room. You are under arrest for the kidnapping and assault of Cassidy, Princess of Guelenor. Madeleine Valois. What? Wait. What? Yeah, Dolores, you're picturing my expression perfectly. This is a mistake, isn't it? It was Dolores. Aren't you supposed to be arresting her? No mistake. I glare at Dolores. Say something! But she shakes her head. No surprise, why would she incriminate herself? Will you come with us, or will we have to carry you? And what about her? None of your business, but she's to see the king for her reward. A reward? How is this possible? What is going on? I don't know how she's done it. Somehow, some way, she's played us all for fools. This isn't over. If you've harmed Oscar in any way, you will wish that they'd hanged you. That's enough out of you. Strong hands seize hold of my arms and begin to pull me away, but I keep my eyes locked on hers. And she says nothing. Nothing at all.